Hey guys. Okay, so this video is kind of abrupt, but I kind of wanted to just talk about the Matrix Resurrections trailer. I originally watched it. I watched it in the gym, and as I was watching it, I didn't want to spend too much time because I had to get through my set. So I thought that if I'm gonna do it, I'm just gonna have to rewatch this trailer. I already watched it. I'm not really gonna watch the entirety again, but I'm just gonna do a quick little breakdown of why I think that this trailer. So basically, let me put it this way: I like the first Matrix movie a lot. I like the first Matrix movie. You know, it was one of the first R-rated movies I ever saw. I'm not really sure how the third film is going to warrant. I know that this movie is only one trailer, and I know that some people are going to jump down my throat and tell me that I don't really know what I'm talking about, or I don't know what's happening. Maybe we'll see. I just see a few things. So if you remember what happened in the Matrix Revolutions, Neo, who apparently, Neo, aka John Wick, you might as well be at this point in time. He made the ultimate sacrifice, and what happened was that the machines, apparently they compromised with the human beings, which didn't make any sense at all. That was probably one of the stupidest ways you can ever end a movie or end a trilogy, is to just kind of have both opposing sides just compromise, and then you have the others, leave. Okay, so the war is over, and now the trilogy is over. The first film was about breaking away from, the control of the machines. The entirety of the plot that the movie kept drilling into our heads was that Morpheus was trying to help Neo see, what the simulation was. The machines are using humans for energy. And the whole thing was that we see the stakes. What we see is the stakes disbanding away from the central point of what the Matrix 1 started, and that's to free people from the control. And then the third one, Revolutions, definitely did it, to the point where now the movie bookends its trilogy with Zion being freed from the war. Like, the war is over. The Wachowskis had the audacity to, near the end of the film, have the Oracle tell the architect, he's like, okay, so what about those people? What about the people that are still in the Matrix? And she's like, oh yeah, they're gonna be freed. Like, it just, to me, that's just not the film just starts out one thing and then transitions into another. That's like if Lord of the Rings, if Frodo gets the ring and then he goes to Mordor, and for some reason, instead of destroying the ring and then ending everything, they give it back to the orcs, or they give it back to Sauron, and Sauron says, okay, we'll just leave. And then they just, they go their separate ways. But as I'm watching this trailer, and I'm seeing these events, and I'm seeing no Lawrence Fishburne, it's just, I'm not really sure what they have to go on. I was kind of hoping that they would just add new characters in general. But, so Lena is the only person directing this. I don't know what happened with the other Wachowski. Let me do my research real quick. So you mean to tell me that Neo? It's like, this is one of the things. This is sort of what was wrong with the Star Wars sequels, though. It's like these certain degrees of sacrifice don't mean anything now. It just boggles my mind. It's like, all I thought to myself was, what in the heck are they gonna do next? And the one thing about this trailer is that it can't be any worse than those movies, because those movies, not only did they disband from the point, but they just disbanded, from the central appeal. It's just they either try too hard, or they didn't try hard enough. And that's how I would rate, the Revolutions and Reload. It would be a cataclysmic system crash that would result in everybody not only killed in the Matrix, but the entirety of the human race would be extinct, because that was pretty much going to be the salvation for Zion in the human existence. This architect was a complete idiot. And I say that he's a complete idiot is because if he wanted to prompt Neo to go to the source, if he wanted to tell Neo, he said, okay, you need to go to the source. to save everybody. We need to save us because we need you. We need the human race. We need the human race to survive. So you can either go to the door or you can doom humanity by going back and saving Trinity. Instead of giving Neo some sort of catalyst to not doom humanity, he could have held Trinity hostage and stuff like that. But instead of holding Trinity hostage and or creating a blackout themselves so that Neo has more time instead of giving him an unlimited amount of time, he decides to just let Neo just go and save Trinity and doom humanity. But then, once again, it's another form of control. But the reason in the third one was that apparently he can't see past any choice. I get it, he's a machine and he doesn't understand humanity. What's his motivation? And they don't really explain the architect's motivations for, toying with just the system of control. Like, what's his motivation for just sort of playing with the concept of choice? It was a cool idea to have the architect, sort of create the illusion of choice and the illusion of consequence. But his reasoning and his motivations are not clear. Are they going to go with the Matrix Revolutions? Are they going to go in depth with that? Like, are they going to go in depth with why this illusion of choice was created? Why did the architect, create the Matrix in such a way where he's creating an illusion of control? What do the machines? The machines need the humans to survive, but what exactly is this one going to address the architect, or is this one going to address a lot of these things that were set up in the second and third one? Because the third one, to me, might as well not existed at all. Earlier, I was trying to figure out why is it just Lena that's directing this film? Lena, okay, so Lily, okay, is Lena Wachowski just directing it? Does she have any input at all? Huh. I'm very conflicted about this one. Because there's a part of me that is interested in what they're actually going and where they're going with this. But another side of me just leaves me awestruck with what I'm looking at. Trinity and Neo are just they're meeting each other again for the first time. Maybe they're gonna have them like sort of remember each other again. Like, oh, I remember you. Yeah, we got it on in Zion. So the machines. I guess the machine, like I said, this is more of a problem with Revolutions. I think Revolutions ended this series or this trilogy badly. I mean, they set up stuff and then they just threw it under the trash because the Wachowskis knew that they had two full feature films to make, and they ran out of ideas. I'm going right back to the architect and I'm asking, is he rebooting? What is his intention of rebooting? Is he rebooting because he knows that maybe that compromise in the third one was pointless? The resurrection needs to follow through on what was set up with 2 and 3, or at least 2. It's just that there's a lot running through my mind as I'm watching this trailer. There's a lot that based on how much I familiar with these movies. There's a lot of questions I have. Are they gonna answer for the flaws of the second and third one? The reason for why this movie even exists. The Wachowskis have not really. The last decent movie they made was Cloud Atlas, and then they made Jupiter Ascending, which was terrible, absolutely awful. Since 8, I wanted to like, but since 8 got very repetitive to a degree where I just started losing interest. Comment, like I said, share your thoughts in the comments. If you like the videos, leave a subscribe, and hopefully, this movie turns out better than what my impression of the trailer is. So, peace out. Love y'all.